Hello gorgeous, my name is Jen. Thank you for being here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I cover my skin when it's extremely red and also very dry. At the moment, I am going through a treatment that has all this bottom part of my face very flaky and extremely dry. So I'm going to show you what products you can use and how to deal with it so you can wear makeup. Usually, I wouldn't use makeup when my skin is this sensitive, but this is helpful for people who need to get into a Zoom call or if you're going to a job interview, and I hope these tips can help you. So let's get started. One of the most important steps is to make sure that your skin is as hydrated as possible. However, in my personal experience with dry patches and flaky skin, I don't want to overdo it with the products. So, for example, if I was to do an interview or a Zoom meeting, in that situation, I wouldn't apply sunscreen. That's something else that will layer on the skin. So I will try to keep it as simple as possible. I do wear sunscreen all the time, even when I'm home. But this is very specific, like if you're gonna be in a meeting or if you're gonna have an interview, so you don't wanna have layers and layers of thick products. So to start, I'm going to be using this Chantecaille essence, and I love the consistency of it because it's not very liquidy. As you can see, it's more of a serum. Let me see if I can show you. Let's see, the camera's not really focusing, so I will show you like this. As you can see, it's not too liquidy, it's more like a serum. And it goes really nicely on the skin. So that would be the first step that I would use. Just apply a few drops and apply mostly in the dry patches. Now, if I don't have any open skin, or if I know that it's a very, what should I say, that it's not a deep dryness, I would exfoliate first. But right now, I'm in the middle of a treatment and I know that this dryness here and this flakiness, it's not gonna go away if I just exfoliate. It might make it worse. So because I wanna be presentable on camera, I don't wanna risk of having this even worse. So what I would do is just leave it alone and try to hydrate as much as I can in the parts that are very dry. So for now, in my skin, this is the part that is very dry. I don't have any problems here, although I have redness, but I don't have any dryness here. I don't have any patches anywhere. The second step is hyaluronic acid. I use this one, and I will be leaving everything in the description box. This is also a serum-like. It's not very liquidy, and I find that when I have products that are in the serum, more consistency of the serum is better for extreme dryness. So I just apply. And although I'm not gonna be doing it in this tutorial, it's always advised to not only do your face, but also your neck. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm just doing this tutorial. For eyes, I am completely in love with this gel from Good Molecules. This is the eye cream or gel that I'm using now. They also have another one that is in a serum, and I also love it as well. The thing is that I'm using this one because it absorbs really fast and I don't have a lot of dryness. I don't have any dryness here or here. If you have extreme dryness around the eye area, I would suggest the Good Molecules Eye Serum. I would leave a picture right here. And I'm also gonna leave all the information in the description box. This one, I love the consistency of it. It absorbs really quickly and doesn't leave any greasy feeling on the eyes. So with the ring finger, just apply a little bit. That amount is good for under the eyes and also on the eyelids. I always apply on the eyelids as well. And right here, massage a little bit. And we are done. For the next step, I'm going to use a serum that's highly hydrating. This is the Kodach #1 Hydration Intense. It helps a lot for people who have winter seasons and also for people who are dealing with this situation right here. I will take 1 pump, and it's a little more liquided, but it's still is a serum. So I'm gonna apply here that amount just for the regular parts of the face, and I apply this even if I don't have extreme dryness. I always apply it. I'm gonna do another pump, and I'm gonna use that just for the dry patches. Now if I didn't have this dry patch here, I would not use this much. But because we're trying to cover it with makeup, it's just best for us to cover and hydrate as much as we can. And just massage. So as you massage, you will see that a little bit of the dead skin will be on your fingers. And it's not an exfoliation per se, but it will get rid of like the flakes that are on the skin. So instead of using an exfoliator, you will just use your hands with the products, and that way just flick away the flareness of the dry skin. For moisturizer, I'm going to be using one from Chantecaille. I have this sample. It looks like this. It has been one of my favorites since I started using it. And I use a generous amount. And this is enough for the entire face, even on the dry spots. It's extremely hydrating, and it's a rose cream that, although it has a scent, it's not really strong, and it's extremely hydrating. One thing that I like to do before applying all the makeup is hydrating my lips. You can use a lip balm or a lip mask until you finish the makeup, and then the last thing that you're gonna do is the lipstick. If you have extreme dryness on the lips, I suggest to use a mask like the Laneige one. I'm gonna leave it right here, and that mask will hydrate you through the whole time that you're doing the makeup, and all you have to do is take it off at the end. But because I'm doing a tutorial and I'm gonna be talking the whole time, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a regular lip balm, and then we'll continue. At this time, I'm not going to be using color corrector because I don't want to add more products. Like I said before, I don't want to like have too many layers of products because you will see the flakes in here. But if you have more redness than me, then you have to do it. This foundation is extremely full coverage, and I find that I don't really need to do any color correcting, and it lasts for many hours. So what I'm gonna do is start dabbing in the places where I don't have the dryness, and I find that I find that on me, this foundation does not oxidize. So I don't mind doing it, you know, everywhere else, and then the last one here, because I want to give this all the products that I apply here time to absorb completely, and I don't want it to like dry out. If you're dealing with extremely dry skin, I suggest to use a beauty sponge versus a brush. What happens when you use a brush is that it may go out beautifully in the places where you don't have dry skin. However, when you do this motion with the brush or this motion, then all the skin that was set down with the products that you apply to hydrate will kind of like lift, and then it could be messy. So because of that, I rather in this situation to use a beauty sponge. Now that I did a light layer for the rest of the face, I'm going to go ahead and work the dry patch. I'm gonna go just like so, and you will see how this is so full coverage that I really don't need to do any color correcting. It's very important not to drag the sponge, but to tap it. That way the skin stays put and there's no flakiness throughout the day. Now this, if you have very dry skin, it's probably not gonna stay like this through like 8 hours, but at least it's gonna help a little bit. And I would say, with my experience, it probably lasts like 3 or 4 hours. Later on, I will give you a little tip to make sure that your skin stays hydrated throughout the day. Here's the close-up of how it's looking now. You can still see the texture, but the flakiness is completely gone. At this point in a regular makeup look, I would use some kind of pressed powder or a loose powder to set the foundation. But due to the fact that there's a lot of dryness going on, I'm not gonna use any powders. If you can avoid powders as much as you can, unless you have a lot of dryness here and you're also greasy, then you would have to use some kind of powder. I, in these situations, would like to use a powder that is very fine, such as this from Hourglass. This is the trio, but they also sell them in singles. Or something like this. This powder is amazing. It's from Chantecaille. And this will make your foundation, if you use a foundation that is dewy, this will set your foundation and your foundation will still look dewy. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I usually use dewy foundations, but if you like matte foundations and you have extreme dryness, I would go for a soft matte foundation or a velvety finish foundation, because very matte foundations is just gonna accentuate your dryness. For bronzer, I'm going to be using this one from Revlon, is Skin Lights. I love this formula because it's not very powdery and it goes in beautifully, even if you have dewy, even if you use dewy or matte foundation. For the eyes, I'm going to be using this beautiful quad from Tom Ford. This is the number 03 Body Heat. And for liner, I'm also going to be using a product from Tom Ford, which I have been loving lately. Is an eyeliner that has two different ends, and I use the shorter end to do the entire base of the eyelid, and I use the longer one. This is the shortest one, and use the longest one to do the eye wing, if that's the look that I'm going for that day. So I will be using this one. I will be using the shortest one just to do the whole base of the brow. And this is also really good if you want to do the base of the brow, then add a lash, and then add a little bit more of this one. But I have a video coming up later showing you one tool that I one product that I really love for brows. And as soon as I got it, it was a staple in my collection, and that's like pretty much the only way that I use brow eyelash glue now. So I'm gonna take the shortest one and go ahead and just do a very thin line, or you can go, you know, if you are into very thick eyeliner, you go for it. Because remember, everything else is gonna be so simple that if you want to draw attention to something, it should be the eyes. So for example, right now, like I said 100 times in this video, right now this is my trouble area. This is where I have all the dryness. So I want to draw attention away from this area. So I'm not gonna be applying a very bright lipstick or a very powerful blush. So what I did is that I focused on the eyes, and that's where I'm gonna do most of my makeup. So when people look at me, they look here and they don't look here. This is an extremely easy to use liner. So today I'm not gonna do a wing. I'm just gonna leave it like that, very simple, just to give my eyelash a fuller look. For blush, I'm going to be using this beauty right here, which is a blush, but it's very soft and it still has a really nice glow. So I'm gonna go ahead and softly apply. I really love this formula. It's so soft. And if you love highlighters as much as I do, I suggest to purchase this one. This is from Chanel. This was from the 2019 holiday collection. It was limited edition, but it's still available. And it has the softest but most beautiful highlight. When dealing with dry skin, it's not always advisable to use highlighters because that can show more of the dry skin, but with this one, you can. Now, if I had the skin problems that I'm having here, which are like extreme, if I had it right here, I would probably not use it, but in this case, I will. It's just the softest, and it looks like there is a glow, but not really that you have highlighter on. So I don't know, I really love it. I really hope it doesn't stay limited edition, because I would so repurchase this. Like I mentioned before, for lipstick, I wouldn't want to highlight this area at the moment. So for now, I'm gonna use the Sol de Janeiro lip balm. It does have a little color in it and makes the lips look hydrated. So it's not much of a color, it's just more for your lips to look hydrated. And this lasts for a very long time. So you can either go with something like this. Now, if you have very pale lips and you want to add a little bit of color, or you're just uncomfortable with not wearing lipstick, I would suggest to go for something like this. This is a lip gloss from Hourglass, and it's very nude, still beautiful, but it doesn't have like, it doesn't have a super shine. That is gorgeous. And last but definitely not least, the rose water. I'm gonna be using this one from Chantecaille. You can use rose water before your makeup or after the makeup, and also to hydrate you during the day. That way your skin will be hydrated all day long. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope I was able to give you some tips and tricks of how to deal with your dry skin. Let me know in the comments below if you think this was helpful to you, and if you want, please subscribe. Have a great day.